Hello and welcome back to etc. the podcast. This is our one, two, three. This is our third podcast now, and it's getting better and better. My editing skills are getting better, by which I mean they're still poor. But it's getting better and better, and we're getting a lot of engagements, which is good. Today here with me is DrayZera. And before he introduces himself, I'm going to just read his bio here. DrayZera is a spoken word performing poet, podcaster, and music artist. DrayZera began in 2016 and since then have racked up over 200 performances across 4 countries, including San Francisco's 10th annual Beat Poetry Festival. DrayZera released his debut poetry collection, Broken Circuitboard, with an additional release, Secret Diaries pamphlet, in 2017. In 2019, Psycho Lucy, a cinematic spoken word film series mixing spoken word and horror film, filmed in the historical city of Bath. DrayZera have also released music with Cut Them Loose and King is Dead, released in 2020. The journey continues with The Masked Artist. How are you? How's it going?
I'm feeling good. That's a very lovely presentation of the bio, I have to say. And
Thank you.
I feel I'm continuing to be busy. I'm continuing to work hard despite the limitations of the world, as we know. But yeah, I am feeling good. I'm feeling lighter, and yeah, that's how I feel.
How's work been? How's continuing work been during this coronavirus pandemic?
So the blessing in disguise, in a sense, is that before the pandemic began last year, I actually left my job a couple of weeks before lockdown began and decided to completely dedicate myself to the DrayZera world, in the sense that I'm fully dedicated working from home, fully dedicated with my craft, my work, and of course fully dedicated as well to support others in not only I do the spoken word and what you've said in the bio, but also I support other creatives in video editing, in logo design, website design as well. So just happy to just keep being creative.
I find that as a poet, as a performance artist, it always helps to have other feathers to your brush, if that makes sense. So if you do your main thing, but if you can help others edit, or if you can get gigs on the side doing technical work, then it's more power to you in your craft.
Absolutely. I feel that what is important is to continue to expand. I mean, I had
Yeah.
literally the day before this episode is being recorded, I've been doing a 2-week intensive writing course for people between 16 to 30, and I'm literally 30, so I've literally reached that. Woo! I will reach the. I just about qualified for it, and what we have workshops in some of these sessions, and one of them was with a playwright of over 20 years, Simon Thomas, and the good thing is, even though we are in this bizarre, even though we have certainly got used to this, we've got into this bizarre world of Zoom calls or video chatting, of where we see each other through screens. But one blessing is that we all are somehow still connected, and we're all learning from each other. And I mean, it's quite wonderful that by June this year will be the 5th year of when DrayZera is born, and I'm blessed in the sense that I'm continuing to learn, and I'm just happy that I'm still performing and doing what I love doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like workshopping and working with others helps your craft? Has it helped you unlock any styles that you weren't previously using?
So I feel, as well as what you said, I also feel that attending spoken word events and attending uh, events, even in the Zoom era and also in person. For example, in 2018, I performed at the Faversham Fringe Festival,
Whoop,
and I've
whoop.
learned a lot of styles there. Yep. Saw Seti perform, of course. Of course, yes, and of course, yes. So many performances I've seen, and so many different styles, because I feel that when it comes to performing art, I think it's very, very important not to live in your own echo chamber, because I think that there are a percentage of people in any kind of world that feels that they have this exceptionally it can be morbid levels of ego. And I feel that when you have too much ego, you don't tend to absorb other forms of art and learning your craft, because I feel that in all of us, just like us as human beings, we develop and grow. And I feel that we should always allow our times to grow. And I feel that even though I have been performing for 5 years, I say to myself, well, every day I'm just beginning, because I feel that there's so much to learn from the world of performing and the world in general.
That's the beautiful thing about poetry, because I always feel like, you know, I always feel like the sky's the limit. I always feel like I get up and I feel fresh about it, and I feel like, cool, what can I do next? And I don't really feel that way in say like a career, like say if I like worked in a shop or something, because there's so much rubbish to deal with, and so much rubbish is put on you, and you just get worn down. You're not actually helped to excel and just do a good job, which is so weird because you'd think that's what they'd want you to do. But with poetry, I get up every day and I feel like as long as I'm willing and I'm hardworking, I can get even further.
Yeah, I feel that's very important. I mean, for me, going back to the workshop of Simon Thomas, I asked him this question of how do you continue being creative and motivated after so many years? And he said is that when it comes to performance art, when you're an actor or a writer or playwright or working in the arts, I think it's important to just continue loving it, because I feel that we're all in this because we love it. I don't want to. I don't want to perform just for the sake of it. I don't want to go through the motions. I mean, there was a time around 2018, 2019 when I was very inactive in comparison to the 2 years previous, where I was not performing as much. And in a way, I was feeling I was going through the motions, because sometimes you get a lull in any form of in life in general for various reasons. And I just felt that I don't want to be in that place anymore. So I'm very, very happy to say that as we're recording this in 2021, I feel as reinvigorated as ever. I feel fired up. I feel excited. And I feel that just continuing on that process of just continuing to love what you want to do is very important, because I feel that in any form of life, if you're a creative but you don't like what you're creating and you're not feeling it, then just move on. Just don't do it, because I feel that you're just a glutton for punishment otherwise.
That's so true. That's so well put. Can you tell me about the mask and how was that born?
So the
It's
I've
cool.
always
I
had
mean,
a
it's a good look. Yeah.
Thank you. I've always had a fascination with masks for a very long time. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan for a very long time. One of the first masks I can remember was old WWF Attitude Era Kane, the wrestler, with the big red machine, and I found masks to be very fascinating. Also, I'm so old to remember the old animated show, The Mask. I remember that as well, and I feel that masks are a form of art, and I feel that from 2017, that's when I first incorporated a mask look, when I got an LED light up mask from Cyberdog that I performed in 2017, and then kind of 2018 I kind of ventured away from that and having kind of a spiky hatted kind of more denim kind of look. But then afterwards I felt that I then went to a kind of style of a kind of operatic or opera style mask afterwards, and then yeah, I mean, I feel that it's always important to, when you perform, I take it very seriously, my wardrobe. Now, this does not make me, I don't want to sound like any form of diva, but I feel at the same time, I feel that everyone, when it comes to performing and the way that I perform, I feel that it's very important, your appearance, because I feel that like Prince, like various other artists, I think that a form of art is also your outfit, what you're trying to portray, and the image you're trying to project, because I feel that it's all part of the same package. I mean, yes, the words are very important. Yes, the way you articulate is very important, but I also feel that having a look, having a vibe, I think is important to you, because I feel that I feel that the whole look and appearance of DrayZera is not because I want to just put up some sort of front. I want it to be a segment, a part of me. And as DrayZera continues, I feel that there'll be various different guises and outfits moving forward, because I feel that I don't want to dwell on one kind of look forever, because I feel that, like art, as we mentioned in the last question, you always want to keep developing. And yeah, let's just say I can exclusively reveal on the Etc. podcast that perhaps there might be a new DZ look, but we shall see.
Brilliant. One thing is that if you are interested in the artistry of masks and the history of masks, it is so rich. If that is something you want to get into, is just like the history and the art of masks is just so plentiful. Also, when I went to Venice, that is the place to go if you like masks. Let me tell you that. Like, you should definitely check it out sometime.
So I'm blessed in the sense that let's just say, so in the podcast that I do, the DrayZera Uncensored podcast, plug, my co-host Jackie Hyde, he is a professional wrestler who wears masks all the time, and he designs his own mask. So a bit like that, the fascination of masks have really got me intrigued, because I've seen Jackie Hyde, but with my own eyes, how he develops his mask using latex technology, and he literally crafts some amazing masks, which he also makes masks for wrestlers in the British wrestling scene as well. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, definitely, definite shout out. I definitely have to go to Venice now. Like, a big fan of masks, and I'm a big fan of what do you call them? Gondolas, or
yeah, it's beautiful. You'd love it there.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you've traveled pretty extensively for art and poetry, much more than I have. I'd love to travel more, but once you got them kids, Dre, if you get out of the house once a day, you're doing a good job. So what's been your favorite place to perform? What's the furthest you've ever gone?
So I performed in England, Scotland, Wales, and America, and one place, and I would love, has to be hands down San Francisco, because I felt that the experience was very different. It was very weird as a British born individual to have warmish weather in November, late October time. And yeah, I feel that it was a completely different culture in itself, and I felt I was really welcomed with open arms at the Repeat Beat event. Chris Vinoy, that's where I met Chris Vinoy for the first time.
Yeah, he's great.
Who, for all those that are unaware, Chris Vinoy extensively performed in Kent in places like Margate and Faversham, all them kind of places, Canterbury as well. And yeah, I really have been blessed by that experience, because I feel that it's very, very important to really expand your wings and all that kind of stuff. I mean, San Francisco, hands down, been amazing. I will say, if there's one thing that my body has told me to realize, and this is where I've been extensively traveling in 2017, especially, now that I'm a couple of years older, I now understand how my body reacts to things, because there's only one way to find out, is by actually doing it and then see how your body reacts afterwards. I feel that, which I'm doing currently, is that on Zoom events, I'm performing around 6 times, 7 times a month. And I think that's a good maximum, because basically in 2017, I performed 10 times a month on average. And that's going to actual places and also keeping a job at the same time, at the time. And for example, for one day, I performed in Torquay in Devon, way at the south left of the country, and then the next day I performed in Newcastle. Literally, I arrived in Newcastle an hour before the event began. I left in the morning. Literally, it was a 8-hour train ride. And while I do love traveling, I feel that traveling is very good. I love traveling, but I think I will definitely, I wouldn't say completely cease it, but definitely balance out a bit more, because I feel that TLC, tender love and care, is very, very important for any artist or anybody in general.
Absolutely. It's a bit like you say, especially as you get older, you've got to look after yourself, mind and body. Otherwise, you will just you just won't be able to carry on, and you need to actually look after yourself in order to be able to keep going and not just drop dead. Like, I just found that. And also I realized, I used to sometimes have this mentality. I've seen other people really suffer with it, which is, I need to be everywhere other people are. And that's not, I mean, by all means engage and have a good media strategy and market yourself well, but all that stuff anyway, and I know it to an extent. But don't always think, I need to go to this place because that person's there. I found, I said to myself, like, you are the center of your own life. You're the center of your own creativity. Don't place it outside in other people, other things, and just, if you've got something to offer, put it out there. And I was just like, I'm not going to chase. I'm just going to be me and be zen and chill.
I see, yeah, absolutely, because I feel that everyone should work on their own clock, because I feel that they say imitation is the best form of flattery, but at the same time, everyone is different. For example, DrayZera and myself, I do my things my own way. The director and producer of Whiskey and Beers, Connor Sansby, he does his own thing his own way.
Yeah.
And I feel that it's very important to just literally do your own way. Like another artist, Sam Rapp, the dyslexic poet,
Brilliant.
that's she wants to market herself and showcase that, supporting people with dyslexia, and she wants to do it her own way. Everyone has their own way of doing things, and in art in a form, everyone should do their own way. There is no specific set path in the way you want to go. It's how you feel, and being honest with yourself in where you want to go is where you should or want to be. Because I feel that people should not act like sheep and just literally follow the flock. For example, I mentioned this in a podcast on another show I've been on. It would be nice to perform at Edinburgh Fringe Festival, I feel that there is this conception that it is the glitz and the glamour of the performing arts world, and I feel that yes, that may be the case, and that's pretty awesome, and it is a prestigious worldwide event. However, there are so many other events across the world. There are over 200 countries in the world, and there are other like fringes across the land. And I think it's very important to literally just expand your horizons, because I feel that one problem that artists can have, and I have been guilty of it myself, while starting out and performing, is literally having tunnel vision. And I think tunnel vision can really blight you away from opportunities that could come your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say that your confidence has grown throughout your years in poetry? I'd say mine has grown. I used to be like, oh, I don't want to, oh, I hope everything's okay, and just trying to be friendly with everyone. And it's like, I'm not unfriendly now, but I wouldn't accept abuse.
I think it's in a way, yes, because when you begin, you're really, you get the bright lights, depending on stage lights or whatever setting you're at. It's very, very nerve-wracking to perform in front of people. Even to today, I mean, and especially since in this pandemic era, I've only performed once in front of an audience since like the start of 2020. And I feel what is important is to literally, be in your own zone and that kind of thing. And I think, yeah, confidence. Yeah, I have got the confidence, and I feel that in a way it is muscle memory, because even though it is a different form of living, performing art, in a way it can be a sport, because literally you repeat your routine, you do your warm up, as in by your warm up, as in you could, for example, you can mentally be thinking, you could be in the zone, you do a little hop, skip, and jump, whatever you want to do, And I think, yeah, confidence breeds confidence. You just continue doing your thing, and you just are in that zone. But it's also good to understand that you're always human at the same time. Like, even though you want to be the most peak performance you can be, like with athletes, like an artist, you're not always going to be at the peak performance. But I think it's better to try than to not do it at all. That has been my philosophy throughout.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is very good. Before we get too far into this, could you read us a couple of pieces if you got them there? Love to hear that.
Oh yeah, oh definitely, definitely. I'm down to read some poetry. Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, what to perform? This is a very interesting. Yes, okay, let's do this. Right. So let's do this. So one of the poems I will perform is titled "Rad" with a question mark. It goes like this. I fell off my skateboard and got the most badass bruise on my left knee. It's kind of rad. If you don't fall off your board from time to time, then you haven't breathed that rolling life. Because it teaches you to descend and crash safely. It doesn't matter if you could do an ollie, kick flip like a boss or 180, because rolling with it is kind of rad. No matter the bruises and cuts and falls, it's how we back up and ride what we love. Hopping and bearing, snapping that cat back, kick back and glide, wind and blissful notion. I should really check on that bruise before riding the concrete again. But still, it's kind of rad. And that was rad. And
Yay, brilliant. Thank you for
thank
that.
you, thank you. And I'll do one more, and this is a poem which is personal to me in a sense. This is called Runaway Culture, and essentially, as someone like myself who has come from my parents coming from a different culture, and there are people through various nationalities that are forced to be running away from the land that they're native from because it's civil unrest, war, etc. So it's about that. This is runaway culture. My home has turned into famine. Festering bodies, gathering flies, they hold hands like carnivores. The carbine signals that the parade has started. The foreign soldiers laugh, their smiles, machine gun fire. I run for all that I once loved. My culture feels heavy in these two cases. And that is runaway culture.
Wow, thank you so much. That's a sadder one, but sort of thing you've got to listen to. You've got to take that message in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Kind of leads nicely into the next thing I was going to speak to you about, which is I know we've spoken at length about anti-racism and
Hmm.
culture and just what's going on in the country at the moment. How do you deal with that sort of thing in your work? Do you write about it? And where are you at with it at the moment?
Well, well, the interesting thing is that where I grew up in and where I currently live is a very predominantly a white, very middle class town. And I feel that while more modern generations are a lot more open to multiculturalism and that kind of thing, there's always, in my opinion, there is always this underbelly within British culture of, I mean, factually speaking, I'll say it how it is. There is systematic racism, and I feel that there is unfortunately an underbelly of racism in this country. I mean, we have noticed by the rise of Brexit and Brexit happening that the right wing has gained strength, unfortunately, in this country. And the thing is that while it may be controversial to say, the best way to describe American philosophy is like British philosophy on steroids, because there's a lot of similarities between the two countries. And I mean, no, this is obviously, I'm not, if anyone feels a bit disrespected what I'm about to say, I'm just telling you facts. The British Empire have screwed over so many countries, including my parents' homeland, many homelands across centuries ago.
My homeland as well.
Exactly, Seti, exactly. Obviously, I didn't want to say just in case I got it wrong. So glad you clarified.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, Native American Indians that was there before Christopher Columbus screwed them over. And so people were there in America, like America and Britain. Unfortunately, their past is terrible and shocking, and people wonder why and people wonder why there's a percentage of countries that don't like America and the UK, and that's fully justified. That is fully justified. I mean, the main reason why my parents came to this country is because to find a better life, to literally to have better salvation. Because when my mum and my dad moved here, there was war between Bangladesh, Pakistan, because Pakistan used to be whole one country before India separated from Pakistan and Bangladesh, and Bangladesh was known as East Pakistan until Bangladesh got their independence in the 70s, and the 70s is not that long ago. And yeah, I'm going back to your question. I mean, how I deal with it, I just think what is important is to continue staying true to yourself and not and while it's not easy, just not feel the bullets of people trying to load up with trying to bring you down. Because especially when the Black Lives Matter marches were happening last year, and the unfortunate death of George Floyd, even recently, when I posted stuff on Instagram about Black Lives Matter and how you can't have all lives matter without Black Lives Mattering first, so that everyone's at an equal keel, right? I still have people sending me abuse. Even recently, like there was this individual, I won't name the name, who sent a reply to a post on Instagram or a video clip saying that Black Lives Matter and systematic racism exists. But this person commented from 6-7 months ago. I mean, fam, I had a completely different outfit back then, but someone still comments on there. But you know, but I feel, but in a way, and I know this may sound a little contradictory what I'm saying, but I feel that the more known you are in any kind of world, the more known you are, right? The more you're going to get backlash. Like the more people, the more popular you are, the more people that's going to hate you or not like you and find you as a target for abuse. And that's the unfortunate thing, how social media society have grown and developed. But it is what it is. And anyone that wants to say abuse to me or is jealous of me, well, I'm living in your head rent free.
I love that. Is that your saying? I might start saying that.
No. I'm going to shout out a gentleman known as Rahul, who is a big fantasy football Premier League individual that's on Twitter and social media. Shout out to Rahul, but he's also known himself as FPL Boona. He calls himself that, to clarify. That is his main name on in the internet world. And yeah, he has a great channel alongside FPL Bench Points and Linguistic Llama at the FPL Lounge. Shout out to them. But yeah, it's a phrase that I got from him.
I didn't get it when people were horrible to me, and the thing that would upset me is that I just wouldn't understand. I just had no understanding of why that was happening, because I didn't believe that someone could be jealous of me, because I don't really feel jealous of other people. Like, I'll feel jealous of someone and then I'll recognize it for what it is, and I'll be like, oh, that's stupid, or what can I do to achieve that? But you know, over time you realize that, unfortunately, not to big yourself up, but jealousy is real. And you know, people will be jealous that, you know, you're just a creative person. Like, they'll even be jealous of simple creativity, you know.
Exactly. I mean that, and that's the thing. I mean, there are people that the saddest thing is, what people don't realize is that the more you focus on other people in a negative light, the more you're not going to focus on yourself. And unfortunately, people like that, they don't do self-love and self-care. I mean, I'll tell you this right now, literally at the back end of last year, I decided I wanted to lose weight, get to a body where I'm more happy with, because not just because I'm getting older, but also because I know that the way that I perform, the way that I know that if I'm a healthier body, I can have a healthier state of mind, and I feel that my work outfit's good. And also I've even done some heavy decluttering of my house. For example, I have got rid of very old clothes I don't want. Like, I've been watching stuff like The Home Edit. I've been watching stuff like Marie Kondo. And
good on you, man. Do you know what? That's really positive. That's good stuff.
Exactly. And big shout out and a big shout out to a company called The Tidy You, which is owned and run by my girlfriend, where she is venturing into the home organization world. So yeah, it's very important, because I feel that us creators, there's always a stereotype, and I feel like to an extent it could be true, where all your stuff is messy, papers all around, and literally all that kind of stuff. And I think that's just important to literally have a much more clearer space and much more improved minimalism, because I feel that just like in life, I feel that we've had so many distractions, and I feel that there's just so much like rubbish that's not needed, and I feel that people leave it as a kind of metaphorical trash around you, and I feel that it's very, very important to just like, keep it clean, keep it real, so you can be more focused in what you want to do.
Do you have any poems to read by anyone else that you maybe enjoy?
Definitely. I have got hella poems on my bookshelf.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, so hella poems right here. So let's have a look here. What have I got here? Yes, this is amazing poet. This is amazing performer called Genevieve L. Walsh. Brilliant. Called The Dance of a Thousand Losers. What an amazing artist.
Is that someone you know?
Yeah, someone I know personally, yeah. So I got this book. When I was doing my book tour of Broken Circuitboard in 2017, I featured in Derby alongside Genevieve as well, and she herself was doing her book as well, The Dance of a Thousand Losers, and it said here, for DrayZera, you beautiful weirdo.
Oh, cool.
From G, and yeah, let's do this right here. All right, so I will read out to you the first poem of this book, From the Ashes of a Poet. It goes like this. Don't go down to that tree, lads. It's grown from the ashes of a poet. The bark smells like hyperbole and resentment. It's covered in a half blood, half rum sap. And they say, if you stand beneath it and blare out your favorite tune, the wind will whisper, what is that crap you're listening to? It isn't haunted, nothing so passé, but they say it creaks if you use its shade to throw around cliches. The leaves, in the right light, turn from mongreens to purple haze, but try and take a picture and it's gone. When Black Friday comes, they say, you can hear it groaning as you pass, that it's moaning, bending branches, cast a menace over this place. They say there are lyrics chipped into the bark that you can only see. When you're off your face, try to take a picture and it's gone. No matter how tired you grow of the ache of the midday sun, don't go and stand in that shadow. You'll come back battered, wistful, shattered, and gleefully bleak. Don't go down to that tree, lads. It's sprung from the ashes of a freak.
Oh, beautifully read. Thank you. Poet for me to go and check out, actually. Just made a note of that.
100%. Genevieve L. Walsh. Big up, my homie.
Brilliant. So in your bio, it said about you being a musician. Obviously, I got to know you through poetry. I didn't really know much about your musical side. Could you tell me a bit about that?
So I'll be completely honest. It's more I'm feeling very, very embryonic in this kind of world, because I've never performed music in front of an audience, and I feel that I wanted to be another outlet. I mean, for me, I have developed or working with, music software and working with some artists that I know in making the music that coincides with my lyrics. I mean, so before I even wrote poetry, I wrote song lyrics before poetry, and I feel that even though I feel comparatively in the world of poetry, I feel that I am a novice in it, but I'm learning much so, and I feel that I released Cut Them Loose, the first music video last year in 2020 in March. That was cool. And then I released King is Dead in December last year in 2020. And I feel that for me, I really just want to continue and just like work on that kind of outlet, because I feel that I mean, I'll be completely real. I mean, who knows? It may not go anywhere, but I think it's important to just have that outlet regardless. And I think it really wants to spread my creative wings because I feel that poetry is a beautiful art form, and I love poetry, but I also love music too. And I feel that is very important. And for me, I enjoy stuff from Little Mix to Sepultura, the real heavy stuff, such as Gojira, such as yeah, like Slaughter to Prevail.
Your look
I
kind of
also enjoy.
has a metal look to it. I always think like that's how your
Yeah,
aesthetics.
yeah,
I always
yeah,
think
yeah.
like, yeah, this guy could be in like a metal band or something.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, I also sometimes listen to Cheryl Cole,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga. You know, like I really love music. Music is a massive passion of mine. I also do enjoy my grime as well. Lady LeSure, I like Chip, I like various kind of artists that kind of mold as well. And yeah, I think it's very, very, very important to just continue to have that vibe and that love. I think it's important to really enjoy the music kind of things, and much like I really enjoy also creating, like, filming content, because I feel that one thing that I don't think enough poetry creative does is like make like cinematic spoken word videos. I mean, it does exist, and I
Yes,
mean, it does,
absolutely.
that space does exist, but I feel that there needs to be. I feel there needs to be more, because I think, like, there are some of the most amazing poems that I've listened to in the Zoom era and before on stage, and while I'm in the audience. But I feel that people give themselves a disservice when that if they obviously, if they want to, they just never pursue them them actually like doing it, and I think that's a real shame.
Absolutely. Where is your hometown, and what is the scene like immediately in your surroundings? Or what was it pre-COVID?
Well, honestly, and this is me being completely bold and honest. One of the reasons why I love travelling out of my town of Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk, smack dab in between Ipswich and Cambridge, is because I feel that the scene of poetry here is overtly traditional. It's very, honestly, it feels very conservative, and it's just, there's no life there. There's no life there. Even I talked to a comedian who's a good friend of mine called Aaron Hood, and he himself moved out of there and went away from the Bury scene, the Bury St scene, and is more in the Norwich scene now. And it's literally, the thing is about the town is that is a very is a it's I mean, aesthetically the town is nice. The town is lovely. Like, it has a beautiful garden place. But I feel that it's, when it comes to art and creativity, the best place to go is out of Bury St Edmunds and into various places. Like, I mean, for example, places like Canterbury, the county of Kent in general, especially the Medway area as well, like all that kind of area, like different parts of the whole country, is
You should come
literally
to
amazing.
Ramsgate down where I am, once all this is over. Ramsgate's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I have been to Ramsgate once. I remembered there was a yes, I have performed in Ramsgate once. I do remember. Yes, that area is nice. I have performed there as well. Yes, Kent, that area is amazing, and also, like, stuff around London is amazing. Birmingham's amazing. Swindon's, like, literally. I'll go as far to say that nearly everywhere in the whole country is better when it comes to creative art and performing art, apart from my hometown. And this is one of my main motivations, just getting myself out there. And there might be some people that could be offended by that statement, but I don't care, fam, because I have been in this town for 3 decades of my life. So I have the best opinion in my own personal perspective. So, but no, but yes, honestly speaking, I think the scene there, it's unfortunately, when you have unfortunately a conservative government ruling the town since the records began, what else is there to say?
Exactly, yeah, and so you've got to speak your truth, and
Mhm.
sometimes it offends, sometimes it doesn't offend. I'm always on the side of like, look, you got to speak the truth, and offense comes. You can take offense at someone saying a horrible, unfounded thing to you. Like if I was like, oh, Dre, you're a stinky bum or something, like, but you can't take offense at the truth. If it's a true criticism, you got to take it on board.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
What were you like at school? And did you have one of them, oh, I read a poem at school and that's what started it all off moments? Or, you know,
No, no, actually. That's a very interesting question. So, honestly speaking, when I was in school growing up, I had this syndrome where I wouldn't call it a syndrome, but I had this issue where until the age of 16, I was too shy to talk to females. To uh, yeah, I was just too shy, and my social skills are nowhere near as they are now. I was a little bit reclusive, although I did have that swagger of confidence that may have come across in this podcast. But I was very well. I still am to an extent very geeky. I mean, when I was at school, I was big into my Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh professionally for years in my teenage years, right into my early 20s. I really love that kind of living, like literally saving up my lunch money, not using my lunch money, buy booster packs in the market before I go to school. School wise, I try my best to be a good student, but I 9 times out of 10 I stay away from bad behavior, but sometimes I get drawn from just being a bit silly in school, but like not like to the point that I got expelled. I never got expelled, but I did get in trouble once or twice, over like little dumb things. But I feel that's also because I felt that, and this goes a bit deeper actually. I felt it's because I lived in a very strict culture of an upbringing within my Asian parents. I never understood social constructs within the outside world, and I learned that it took longer for me to understand that, because when you're living in two different bubbles of world, your mind
oh
gets very
yeah,
confused. Yeah,
oh
you
yeah,
get what I mean. So you get what
oh
I mean,
yeah,
Seti. Hundred
oh
percent,
yeah.
100%, and that's why I think that people misunderstood me, and as a result, I misunderstood them, and that's sometimes where the trouble came from. But in terms of my writing and poetry, I remember when I was in school, I listened to stuff like Bullet for My Valentine, Metallica, Trivium, and also getting into my Tupac and all that kind of stuff, and I feel that I was writing song lyrics, and my song lyrics were so dark and stereotypically emo that some of my friends were like, "Oh no, yo, are you okay?" Like, no, 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 I'm just expressing myself, and it's just a really interesting thing where I think poetry came later. I think I actually started writing. The first poems that I wrote was when after I was in secondary school. Really, I think that's when I started to venture into that kind of world. Because I don't know what really sparked it, because the anthologies from the AQA English it's not all that, fam. It's like literally poetry in this country is literally the comparison between expired cheese versus a great creme brulee. Like great creme brulee is the performance poetry and the wonderful world of poetry that we see today, that you've seen on stage, your listeners have listened to in the Etc. podcast. Big up. Don't forget to give this show a follow. And yeah, that's the problem, because literally as long as the education board is run by middle class entitled wet wipes, then you're never going to have the creativity of artistry moving forward. Because I'll tell you this, which was really shocking. I don't quote me on this, but I read up that the only black musician within an A level or university syllabus was removed, but then due to backlash, he was brought back. And that's another thing also. That's another thing also that I feel that education still needs to do. Diversity in education. We're in 2021. I feel it has improved since when I was in education many moons ago, but I feel there's more to be done, because I just feel that like, as much as Oscar Wilde is all right and all that, but what about artists from, what about like various different artists? Like, for example, this is an amazing artist called Red Medusa, who is a black grime artist, who is a poet. What about SETI? What about like various people from different backgrounds that aren't white? Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like,
And
where are
when
they?
I was growing up, I was a big fan of the fantasy genre. So I was a big Tolkien head. And
Ah,
the thing is that I felt like there was a real um sort of dialogue that you couldn't ignore, where the orcs were presented as, I don't know, to have like ethnic minority cultural traits, which is
yeah,
not cool. And the films could have done something about that, but they didn't. They showed the enemy as having sort of like Turkish slash North African garb, which is not cool. And it's like, if you're a child growing up and you idolize these things, and you think, you get the message pretty quick that there's no space for me in this thing that I love. I don't exist anywhere in these various worlds. Where do I exist and how can I exist? And I was watching The Witcher again last night, and it's so good to see ethnic minorities and characters not being weird to them. So you've got a black elf, you've got, tribal
yeah.
people living in the enchanted forest, and it's like, give us these spaces. We can occupy these spaces.
Exactly. And you know what? Like, for real, yeah. When it comes to fantasy, I am a massive fan of David Eddings. David Eddings, when I was a teen, David Eddings, the Sparhawk, all that Chronicle stuff. Hell yeah! Inject that excellence into my veins.
Yeah. You were saying about the two different worlds that you grew up in. I kind of like really resented that like culture that was like, oh, when you're older you need to be a doctor and stuff. But now that I have a child, I'm kind of like becoming that Iranian mum. And it is only because, like, and I'm like, oh, you better not hang around with riffraff and stuff. And it is only because you're just so worried that your kids will have no money and they'll be desperate, and you'll be supporting them all the time. And I don't mean that as in like selfishly, like, I'll happily support her till the day I die, but you know what I mean. You're just worried that they'll struggle, so you think, oh, well, if they're a doctor, that they'll be okay. So I always resented that two worlds, but I'm now starting to understand it.
Yeah, and I think that I think what happens is that I think you have a different perspective, because when it comes to that kind of thing, it's the problem is that when you get to that kind of world, unfortunately, it's yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem, because when you basically feel that everything is against you, kind of thing, and that's the thing,
Mm.
and yeah,
How
and it's
did you
mad.
feel the first time you ever performed?
Wow. So the first time I performed, so the interesting thing is I performed under my the name that's on my birth certificate for the first 5 or so months in 2016 in Jan, and felt it felt really enthralling. It felt mad in the sense that it was really it felt really strange. I mean, I just for starters, I wasn't wearing a mask, short ass hair, uh, etc., etc., and yeah, etc. podcast, and also it just felt. I felt really, really nervous, because I was looking at my phone through a, looking at my phone, like looking down on my phone. Obviously, nothing wrong with looking down on your phone, but it just felt really different to how I perform now.
Mm. What's next for you? Where would you like to take things?
World domination. No, what is
That's a good
actually maybe.
answer. That's
Yeah,
actually a
yeah,
good answer.
yeah, world domination. But also for me, I want to tour the world with my poetry. I feel like I want to perform across the world, different cultures because I love traveling. Traveling is one of my passions. I want to do that. I cannot reveal yet, but let's just say that future releases of things may be in motion or may not be in motion. I mean, obviously, as a creative, I'm not going to just continue performing and not release content, am I? But I feel more stuff will be coming. I want to keep being busy in that. And of course, most importantly, I just want to continue developing and just staying hungry because I feel that always there is a little bit of a chip off my shoulder because going back way back talking about my local town and everything, as much as I enjoyed that town by beginning DrayZera by firstly, I feel that that town in itself does not have that diversity, that kind of whole loving of various like cultural backgrounds. It just feels very segregated still. And no, it does not count by having like different chains such as Pizza Express that is apparently Italian food. But anyway, I digress. But I feel, honestly speaking, Seti, I feel that what is important is I really want to just do my absolute best. And literally, as you mentioned earlier in one of the things you said, the sky is the limit when you wake up, because I feel that I don't want to narrow myself. I just want to continue working hard.
That's brilliant. Well, it's been almost an hour. Do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for joining us, and we'd love to have you back at some point.
Thank you very much. I'd be happy to. And who knows? Maybe DZ may look different to the knees the next time.
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. Catch you later, mate.
Do I have any shout outs to social media?
Oh yeah, of course you do. How unprofessional of me. Go for it.
It's all good. So, for anyone that wants to donate for the price of a coffee, then you can go on ko-fi.com/DrayZera to donate. Also, if you'd like to purchase my book, Broken Circuitboard,
I've got it. It's very good.
Yeah, thank you very much, Seti. Thank you very much. Signed a copy. Oh my lasagna, signed copy delivered straight from the factories at DZ Productions. You can get it at DrayZera.net. Head over there, get your signed copy. In that shopping cart, you can say what you want to say, my friends. And what else? You can check me out on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at DrayZera, and my YouTube channel is DrayZera. With every Wednesday will be either a live performance or a cinematic spoken word video, or maybe a music video. Also on Mondays on my DrayZera Uncensored podcast channel, every Monday 5 p.m. UK time, 9 a.m. Pacific, you'll be joined by myself, Jackie Hyde, professional wrestler and singer-songwriter, and my best friend of nearly 3 decades, Dan Pettit, will be interviewing various guests of various different worlds. And of course, every Friday there's a new DrayZera Unmasked channel where you'll see DrayZera, just a casual civilian version of himself, just doing random things such as making chicken curry or making the best hot chocolate ever, or coming soon, whenever this is out, it might come out by the time this comes out. The time that I faced former 6-time world snooker champion Steve Davis in a 1-game frame shootout at pool from years ago. You'll get to see all of that content and more. Keep it real, only on DrayZera.
Brilliant. Nothing more needs to be said. Brilliant. Fab.